All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling a massive question. Why do we constantly ignore digital security risks, and exactly how is choice architecture secretly hijacking our behavior? We are opening up a high-stakes investigation into how our digital autonomy is being compromised on a daily basis. And by the end of this, we'll look at how we can actually implement ethical interface design to take that control back. But before we get to the hard data, I want you to think about something for a second. Why did you click I agree on that last pop-up? Seriously, think about the last time you downloaded a new app, updated your software, or hit a new website. Did you actually read the terms and conditions, or did you just aggressively mash that I agree button to get it out of your face? Yeah, me too. You're definitely not alone there. But what if I told you that choice wasn't entirely yours? What if you are actually the subject of a massive, completely invisible behavioral experiment? Which brings us to part 1, the privacy paradox and the illusion of choice. Take a look at these numbers from a 2026 IJAMA study. It perfectly captures this bizarre contradiction we live in. 84% of people claim to highly value their digital privacy, right? Makes sense. But observed behavior? 72% of those exact same people readily share highly sensitive biometric and location data. It's the ultimate paradox. We say we fiercely guard our data, but then we eagerly trade it all away for what? A 10% discount code? A minor convenience? So why are we actually doing this? Let's look at part 2, choice architecture, and how they're literally hacking the brain. To understand how these interfaces hack our decision-making, we have to talk about a behavioral economics concept called hyperbolic discounting. Sounds like jargon, but it basically just means human beings are hardwired to overvalue immediate, trivial gratification at the expense of our long-term security. In plain English, you'll gladly trade your future digital security for an instant coupon today. Our brains desperately want that reward right now, so the abstract, kind of distant threat of a future data breach, it just doesn't register in the moment. Now, check out this absolutely wild statistic. 91%. In that same experiment, researchers gave users a permission screen where data sharing was pre-toggled to on, and 91% of users just left it on and kept going. This is known as default bias. It absolutely proves that the path of least resistance completely controls our choices. When a company makes sharing data the default setting, we almost never summon the cognitive energy required to go in and turn it off. Moving into part 3, dark patterns. This is the manipulator's arsenal. Let's run through this catalog of manipulative tactics like a digital rap sheet, because that's really what it is. Notice how these abstract UI designs directly exploit visceral human emotions. First up, confirm shaming. This one heavily uses guilt. Imagine trying to decline a newsletter, and the only opt-out button says, "No thanks, I hate saving money." Or a language app showing you a literally crying cartoon owl when you try to close it. Then there's the Roach Motel. Super easy to check in, almost impossible to check out. Think about how seamless it is to subscribe to Amazon Prime, but historically how convoluted they made it to cancel. That preys directly on our sunk cost fallacy. And finally, fake urgency. You've seen this, those countdown timers on booking sites exploiting your FOMO, or fear of missing out, practically forcing you into an impulse buy.
And then there are a few more specific offenses, like privacy zuckering and sneaking. Privacy zuckering is a tactic where the interface actively tricks you into sharing way more personal information than you ever intended to. And sneaking? That's when hidden costs are just quietly slipped into your shopping cart at the very last second. Or when an app secretly harvests your email contacts to spam all your friends on your behalf, which is something LinkedIn actually faced a massive lawsuit over. We really need to frame this correctly. This isn't just sloppy or bad design. It is a deliberate, highly calculated psychological heist.
Which leads us to part 4, the dopamine trap and our total loss of control. There's a great quote from Tristan Harris's TED Talk that sums this up perfectly. He says, "A handful of tech companies control billions of minds every day. The design of the modern internet is not some chaotic accident. It is a meticulously calculated arms race for human attention. Every single color choice, every button placement, every notification ping, it is engineered by actual neurodesigners to capture and hold your focus."
So how exactly do they keep us hooked? They use slot machine mechanics. Think about it. The pull to refresh anticipation, unpredictable intermittent rewards, infinite scrolling that deliberately removes any natural stopping cues, autoplay features on Netflix or YouTube. When you pull down to refresh your social media feed, you have no idea what you're going to get. It is the exact same psychological mechanism as pulling the lever on a casino slot machine. It keeps you totally trapped in an endless dopamine loop, completely ignoring any security risks and entirely losing track of time.
So, how do we fix this? Part 5, Ethical Design and Reclaiming Our Freedom. Here is the blueprint for a strict new protocol focusing on ethical UI design. Step 1, clear and transparent communication. That means no more trick questions, no double negatives, no hidden fees, just straight talk. Step 2, easy opt-out and unsubscribe. Refusing a service or leaving a platform altogether should literally be just as frictionless as it was to sign up. And step 3, neutral default settings. We have absolutely got to stop pre-checking the boxes that sign away user data. And look, if companies need a hard, bottom-line business reason to change their ways, the economic case is actually crystal clear. According to a global PwC study, customer churn after a negative digital experience is massive. 32% of users will abandon a brand after just one single instance of a deceptive dark pattern, and 59% will leave after 2 instances. So sure, manipulative dark patterns might boost short-term metrics, but they absolutely destroy long-term brand loyalty and trust.
Thankfully, the law is finally starting to catch up too, with a rapid evolution in privacy regulations. Back in 2018, GDPR introduced massive data protection rules, and fast forward to the 2026 EU Digital Services Act, which explicitly bans dark patterns, like those aggressive pop-ups and misleading consent buttons. We are seeing international regulations actively shift the liability. It's no longer about just relying on an individual's willpower to resist. The burden is now firmly being placed on the company's interface architecture itself. We've covered the psychology, the manipulative dark patterns, and the path forward to ethical design. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a lingering, somewhat provocative question. Whose choice are you making right now? The very next time you open an app, swipe a screen, or click I agree, just pause for a second. Are you really acting on your own free will, or are you just blindly following an invisible architecture designed to hack your brain? Something to think about. Thanks for exploring this with me.